Welcome to the Assist Podcast, Episode 1. Just a little intro for myself. I am Zach Schwartz, your host. I am a student at the University of Central Florida down in Orlando, Florida. I am from Michigan, which is why I have all of the crappy Detroit teams as my favorites. I'm also a Barcelona soccer fan, a big superhero movie guy, nonfiction reader, a bunch of other stuff, studying pre-med, want to go to med school, and joining me today for this historic first episode is Sam Redman. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic today, Zach. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so glad you're here. Sam, tell the people about yourself.
I'm Sam Redman. I go to The Ohio State University. We actually have I didn't appreciate the little shot that you had to slide in there with the University of Central Florida. I'm from Cleveland, so I am all Cleveland fans, except for football. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, so even better, more of a rival with your Detroit teams.
Yep. Yeah, and we know each other through the glorious Cleveland Soccer Academy, where we almost ran the state for 2 years.
Cleveland Soccer Academy, Impact. You can't forget the Impact. Oh,
that's right, Impact. Good point. But
yes.
We've known each other for a couple years now. We'll get to it with the story of the first idea for a podcast later on at the end of the episode. But so, of course, when I knew I was going to start this, I said, you know what, Sam, we need to do it right. We need to have you on for the first episode. And here we are talking about the Super Snoozer 53, Super Bowl 53. And at least for one that I could comprehend what the Super Bowl was, so excluding the early 2000s. This was horrible. This is probably the worst Super Bowl.
This was not only the worst Super Bowl, the worst outcome that this horrible Super Bowl could have had.
Yep. Everything
about it, from the quality of commercials, from the quality of halftime show, for the blatant disregard to SpongeBob and the exploitation of Sweet Victory for those baloney 5 seconds where we all thought we were going to have something magical, and then one of the worst football game of the entire season. The Buffalo Bills would have put up a better fight than the Los Angeles Rams in that game.
Probably. So let's talk a bit about the football, and then we'll get to all the other stuff that you mentioned, because I do want to talk about that, because all around I think this was terrible. You mentioned, or I put the quote in your preview about Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson being an absolute unit, and Todd Gurley, once again, didn't show up or live up to his 5-year mega contract. 10 carries for 35 yards. Sean McVay, the Rams head coach, claimed he wasn't injured before the game, and there was even a couple runs in there where I was like, oh, Gurley's got it, he's back. And he wasn't. Again.
It was just weird. There was that halftime or the sideline report somewhere in there where someone was saying that he had a knee injury. Then after the game, like you're saying, your star player, he was clocked as the fastest runner of anybody in one of his like little 5-yard carries. I mean, there were points there when he was getting 10 yards. I don't know how you can just turn away from that. The amount of money you're paying for him, he's better than C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
Even if C.J. Anderson was hot coming in, C.J. Anderson showed that he couldn't do anything. Like, even though Gurley really didn't do that much, Anderson did even less. So to say that Anderson was going to be your better option in that game, it makes no sense. I don't know. Like, is it something mental? Was he afraid? It kind of makes me wonder.
Yeah, and I think there were a lot of questions about Sean McVay coming out of this. I mean, everyone's praising Belichick and his great game plan, and that's fine and all, but in reality, if you're going to be a great coach, and I think my dad and I talk about this a lot when we try to analyze different coaches when we're watching, it's what do you do at halftime? And so obviously the game was 3-0 at halftime. You could tell, at least I could from my viewing party, I'm sure you could too, that Belichick was just murdering McVay on the offense. Goff was terrible. 50% completion percentage. That interception was horrible when he was just getting a 0 blitz and he just threw it up like it was a high school game and he's thrown just up in the air to no one. And even on defense, the Rams were good. Brady wasn't good either.
No, and both offenses were so bad. The Patriots' entire offense was throwing it to Julian Edelman for like a 5 or 6 yard like catch before he ran for another 3 yards, and then like sprinkled in a little bit of a longer play every now and then. I mean, they also did nothing the entire game.
Right. There was a play where Romo said it was a third down, of course. It's like you got a double Edelman on third down, and he just got like a 20-yard pass play, single coverage.
I mean, if you told the Rams that walking out of this game, they had only given up 13 points to the Patriots, they would have been booking their tickets to Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, they would have gone to Disneyland because they're from LA.
Right.
Sorry, they would have gone to Disneyland.
Good point. Got to stay in state. But yeah, I just don't see how it seemed like McVay just tried doing the same thing over and over again. Didn't change anything really. I mean, they had that famed 11 personnel with one running back, one tight end, 3 wide receivers, and they didn't get away from that. Gurley barely played, and you would think if you're struggling offensively, you might want Gurley, and it just made no sense to me. I was sitting there watching the game.
Even toss Gurley out there and start like running some little screens or slants with Gurley or something. He's your best playmaker.
Yeah.
He allegedly wasn't hurt. I mean, Goff, besides Gurley not playing, but Goff missed wide open throw after wide open throw.
He's terrible.
I think the moment was too big for him.
Yeah.
I think they just kind of got suffocated in it.
To be fair, he's a young guy, but I mean, he looked lost. I agree with you.
I think they got scared. They said to themselves, "We're playing the Patriots. We're not supposed to be able to do this."
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And the sad thing is that a lot of their guys, like Ndamukong Suh, a couple other guys I know, were brought in on 1-year deals. So I know Los Angeles isn't really that sad about the Rams losing because they really don't have that much of a fan base. Same thing for the Chargers. But we would have taken anyone but the Patriots at this point. So
yeah, I really don't have any sympathy for Ndamukong Suh. He definitely doesn't deserve any sort of award or trophy anytime soon.
Well, I mean, he left Detroit in disgraced, not a great way. You know, the franchise that made him with the number 2 overall pick. So I don't know.
I just have that personal animosity for all those times he
didn't he do something against Rodgers?
He stepped on Aaron Rodgers.
That's your boy.
You can't step on Aaron Rodgers. He got ejected from some other game for doing something against the Packers.
Yep, I remember. Didn't he? I thought he stepped on a lineman's arm or something like that, or stomped on it pretty clearly.
He stepped on Rodgers' ankle, stomped on a line, I think is what the 2 things were.
Yeah. So anyway, Bill Belichick, great coach, as we already knew. Tom Brady, he's 41. Did it well enough.
He played awful. Don't even give him credit. He made probably like 2 or 3 good passes out of all of his completions. Everything else was the reason that Julian Edelman was the MVP is he had 5 yards of separation on every single catch of his.
Yeah. The Hall of Fame talk with him is crazy too. People are saying Edelman should go to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, he won this Super Bowl. I mean, without him, Chris Hogan did nothing. He
literally had 0 catches. Yeah, he literally had 0 catches.
Gronk had a couple. He had that big one, but he didn't do that much. I mean, every little slant, every little out that Edelman was running, he just had their corners so far back on their heels. Then they double team him, and then that's when they would find Gronk. You're going to double team Edelman? That means you're not double teaming Gronk.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think McVay got out coached, and I mean he's young. He'll have time. He'll probably win the Super Bowl. He's created culture there at the Rams that is certainly a positive one. So it'll just be interesting to where all these teams that hired all these offense only coaches, go, like the Cardinals getting Cliff Kingsbury.
All the people, all the coaches who just had the fortune of working for a brief moment with Sean McVay, who then proceeded to get hired as full-time NFL coaches because they worked with Sean McVay once.
Yeah. See, I would say something about that, but the Lions hired the Patriots defensive coordinator last year, and when everyone knows Belichick runs the Patriots defense, and he gave us -3 wins this year from the previous year. So
yeah, that was a good That was a good one.
Well, I just knew he was dumb. He was dumb when he had the number 2
He had
pencil.
The pencil with his laminated sheet.
Yep.
It's not going to work too well.
No. So let's put you as a Saints fan. How mad are you right now?
I don't know how mad I am. I feel like as a Saints fan, you're just laughing. You're laughing at the NFL. Because while you were out, I'm sure none of them watched the game. Well, you were out on Bourbon Street. You were having the time of juice. They had that parade where all the fans were walking through Bourbon Street. You're drinking all day. You're not watching the game. You watch after the game. You see that it was the worst Super Bowl ever. Had the lowest TV ratings of any Super Bowl ever. It had a horrible halftime show, and you're looking at the NFL. It was like, you did this to yourself. You paid that referee. You did nothing about that call. You did this to yourself.
Yeah, and I think just Goodell not saying anything on it, even though he's the commissioner, of course, is just peak NFL. Just like, whatever. Didn't happen. So I think if you're a Saints fan, you're just like, wow, Drew Brees and Sean Payton probably would have made some difference.
We really got robbed of either the Saints-Chiefs. Their scoring, the final score is like 95-93.
Yeah.
Or the Brady Breeze. Instead, we got that horrible product. So I can't, it's hard. The Chiefs put up 31 on the Patriots 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The Rams put 3 points on that defense.
3. And it included the saddest field goal of all time when Zerline missed with 8 seconds left.
Oh, man. I was so excited for that onside kick. I was ready. I was like, this is bringing some excitement to this game. And it was a 48-yarder.
Yeah.
So far to the left.
And I think that's another reason why I was so bad. It's just every time you thought there might be a little excitement, like Goff made a good
that
throw.
Guy wide open in the end zone. Cooks was standing there for 5 seconds before he threw it.
It's like a 10-year-old trying to play Madden.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay, so you also mentioned that commercials were bad. And they were. However, first, one good one I thought. You're a Game of Thrones guy, right?
I'm a Games of Thrones guy, Zach, yes.
Okay, it's
Are you I take it you're not.
No. So that's why this commercial came up and I kind of got what it was going for as it went on, but I didn't completely get it. So please tell me your thoughts during this Bud Light crossed with Game of Thrones commercial.
So but we're thinking, first of all, we're talking about Bud Light. Are they going to stick with this whole Bud Light thing?
Yes.
Is it time for them to move on? Is it time for they've used this the advertising theme, the dilly-dilly for so long? Dilly-dilly's been going on since it was last college football season, I believe. It's been a while. We were thinking, are they going to keep doing this? And then they come out with the corn syrup, and you're like, all right, corn syrup. That was good stuff. I like them rolling around the corn syrup all around the country to, the Miller Brewery and the Coors Brewery.
Right, that was a big stab at them.
And then, all right, so then you have this nice little joust. And so I think what's underappreciated of this commercial is that it is funny without the Game of Thrones stuff. Yeah. In the King's sitting there, he's talking about how good of a day it is. He says he doesn't have the plague anymore. That's a great line. Mm-hmm. The King's happy because he doesn't have the plague.
Yeah, big piece of history.
So you're starting off on a good note. You're like, all right, this commercial is going to be funny. You're just expecting the Bud Light come out, joust someone. They're going to say dilly dilly. It'll all be fun for everyone. And then you get the Bud Light falling. You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's when I was like, what is this?
who could dehorse the Bud Light? And as the Game of Thrones fans, when the Mountain, Sir Gregor Clegane comes onto that screen, that was an exciting moment. Everyone, we were all in just shock and awe. I don't know if you know this, but what happened that when he then proceeds to start jamming his thumbs into the Bud Light's helmet is a recreation of a scene from what I believe is season 4, episode 8, if I remember correctly. The Mountain versus the Viper. So if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, first of all, you need to get on that. It's about time. The series is about to end. You have till April something to watch every single episode, do it. Absolutely do it. It'll be the best decision of your life. All right, but don't watch the Bud Light commercial because it's a little bit of a spoiler. You don't really know what's going on, but you're like, oh, that was the Bud Light commercial, and it won't have the same effect.
Yeah, you just pointed out the episode that the said spoilers in, so thank you.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, so get ready for that. Get ready for that. Just forget about the Super Bowl. Wipe it from your brain. Wipe it completely. You don't need to think about anything from that game. But everything about that, from the dilly dilly guy screaming, it was all recreated. Then you get the dragon coming in, and it was just like, wow, this is one of the best commercials I think I've ever seen. But what is crazy is that dragon is very, very expensive for them to CGI.
You think so? I
know so.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they have to be very select. They had these other things called dire wolves in the show, and they stopped showing them so much because it was more CGI stuff, and their CGI budget was going almost entirely to those dragons.
That's crazy.
So one of my friends said, "Is like, do you think they just straight copied it from an episode and just pasted it in, or did they re-CGI like for the exact scene?"
I don't. Yeah. Probably just. I'm sure if you went back into the seasons or the coming season, I'm sure there's that kind of movement. Maybe.
Yeah. It's unbelievable that someone, we probably would assume at Bud Light, they were like, we're going to get Game of Thrones in this commercial.
Yeah, that's
Everyone
crazy.
Looked at him, they're like, yeah, we're going to get Game of Thrones in this commercial. And then they called up Game of Thrones, just like, yeah, we're going to be in this Bud Light commercial. It's kind of how I feel like with the live action Lion King, how their casting person was like, we're gonna get Beyonce, and they got Beyonce. How do you get Beyonce for a movie? Here's the thing: thinking to yourself, who would be great to play a lioness?
Yeah, Beyonce. Beyonce's the answer to anything.
And then you call her up, and she says yes. I hope you got a hell of a bonus.
Yeah, Beyonce would have been better for the halftime show.
The halftime show. Don't even. That was awful. People said that Justin Timberlake was bad last year. This was like, man.
It was short, right? It felt short.
It felt short. It was so weird and choppy. You're just going from like Maroon 5 to all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, Maroon 5 to SpongeBob. No, it gets ruined by Travis Scott. So you're going from Maroon 5 to Travis Scott, back to Maroon 5. All of a sudden, Big Boy's rolling out in his fur coat and his Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like the weirdest transitions.
Yeah, like
the underwhelming performance, not that entertaining. Adam Levine's just taken off all of his clothes for God knows why.
I read some tweet that was talking about how the nipple rules during the Super Bowl are not equal because of Janet Jackson's
Janet
mistake.
Jackson. She's probably. It wasn't even her mistake. It was Justin Timberlake's fault.
That's right. Good point for the nip slip. Yeah, I just felt like. I guess when they announced that it was three of them, right? When it was Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy.
You thought they'd be doing something together.
Exactly, yes.
It was just three weird separate shows all put together.
So, like, that's why, like, with the whole thing, too, about Atlanta, you know, obviously, Migos are from Atlanta. Like, if you wanted to
you get Migos
Travis
out there,
Scott,
that stadium would have been bumping.
Yeah, like, if you wanted to make it natural, have Migos.
Speaking of Atlanta.
All right.
21 Savage.
I guess we probably should cover this. I need like my own effect for breaking news because this is pretty breaking. We didn't have this on the doc yesterday.
The man's British.
Can you believe that? What's the British equivalent of savage? We have to ask Will.
There was something funny. He's changed his name to like Sir Savage the 21st or something like that. Oh man, that was like the thing the internet needed during that like awfulness of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm gonna text Will.
It's just hilarious. The man, he faked for so long that he was from Atlanta.
So yeah, I also think just legal wise, like it's kind of suspicious that all of a sudden now, like I feel like 21 Savage has definitely been arrested before, so they definitely should have found this out before.
Why are you saying 21 Savage has been arrested?
I just feel like I've seen it in the news. No, I'm just guessing. I
don't know
could
how
look
all
that
of a
up
sudden
too.
you're like, oh, this guy's 11 months over on his green card. Like, what happened?
It was like, no, it was 14 years.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was 14 years.
Do you see all the tweets that were saying Tekashi 6ix9ine was like all the memes about him snitching on 21 Savage being British?
No, I didn't. But
oh, they're good, especially because it's him sitting with his dumb face tattoos and his rainbow hair in like court wearing his suit.
Yeah.
So that picture in itself is funny, but then it's just like, Judge, you could get up to 47 years for this. 6ix9ine. Have you ever looked at 21 Savage? He looks kind of British to me.
I saw someone that said something about that he posted a Snap story of him being like, I want to go dress up to get tea and crumpets. Like, he's been trying to tell us all along.
It was something that was like, when he said he played football when he was 9, he was talking about soccer.
Damn, that's crazy. Truly insane. Will won't text me back. I might have to call him.
Who else is a fake? Like, who else is hiding the fact that they're British? That's what I want to know. How many more of these wannabe Americans are out there?
In terms of, like, culture? Like, celebrity?
No. I mean, like, celebrity. Like, these people, like, he convinced everyone. He convinced the people of Atlanta that he was born and raised in Atlanta.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot more musicians that come from Detroit than there should be.
And they're afraid to admit. Ed Sheeran, surprisingly, from Detroit. He's faking the whole British accent there.
Like, who is it? Who did I just figure out the other day? Mike Posner. Have you heard of him?
I don't think so.
Some people, I think he's more of like an alternative guy. Some people will have heard of him. He went to the same high school as my mom. And I'm like, what? Out of nowhere. It's just weird. Like, there's a lot of people from Detroit. Okay. So we got a little off track there. That's okay. So basically, our conclusion is that this was the worst Super Bowl ever.
Yes. If it does not improve next year, I am boycotting the NFL forever.
There we go. Now you sound like a 70-year-old.
I don't know if you saw this, but the announced attendance for the Super Bowl was around 70,000. The attendance for the MLS Cup, which took place in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, albeit it was in Atlanta because Atlanta was playing in it.
Yes.
But the attendance of that game, so the Super Bowl was 70,000. The MLS Cup had an attendance of 73,000.
Soccer has officially taken over the NFL.
It's America's game.
America's game. Also, Atlanta FC scored 3 goals or more times than the Rams did in that stadium. So,
I know, Zach, I know this is your very first episode, and you're gonna have some hiccups, but you just called them Atlanta FC, and I don't want to disrespect them because they are Atlanta United.
Oh shit! Are you serious?
All right. Soccer is no longer America's sport. We are back to football.
Did I really say Atlanta FC? Jeez.
You said Atlanta FC.
Wow.
It's the AFC. It would have worked really well because I don't know what it means, but it's something that teams will put on the end of their name.
Oh well, I'm sorry, Atlanta United fans and any
all
fans in Georgia.
All the people listening from the Peach State are turning you off. They hit the unsubscribe button.
I hope not. Stay with me, please, because we got a fun game.
As soon as you said it, they're all gone. It's too late to apologize.
Hope we got a good game here. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
We are going to play a game of in or out. What that means is I'm going to say a topic that is somewhat controversial, but we're not doing too serious of topics here because we're not like that. I tried looking up topics for all this stuff, and it was like abortion or vaccination. I was like, no.
That would have made this for a fun episode.
Not doing that. So you're going to tell me if you're in or out, and I'm sure on one of these 6 here, we're going to argue. All right, ready?
I hope so.
Okay. Are you in or out on pineapple belonging on pizza?
All right. So I am in on it. Not necessarily saying that this is going to be something I order. If you present me with a pizza with pineapple on it, I will eat it because I will eat almost any pizza that you place in front of me. But I just don't think anybody has the place to tell someone else what they're allowed to put on their pizza. It's their pizza. They could put whatever they want on their pizza.
So that's a good distinction, because I'm kind of with you. I'm out on it, but I get the whole kind of, like, don't tell other people what they should have, because I won't eat a pineapple on pizza. I'm a very kind of buffalo chicken pizza.
Well, you won't eat pineapple on a pizza because a Hawaiian pizza has bacon on it, and you're religiously not allowed to eat bacon.
That too. It's the Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year.
You're the pig.
It's You're the Pig.
My roommate, he's also a son of Israel. And I thought about him today when it was the Year of the Pig. I was like, uh-oh, Yoni, it's going to be a bad year for you.
It's true, though. So
are you even allowed to be in this year?
I just think I can't eat this year.
I don't know how that works. I don't know what God's going to think about this one.
Maybe I just can't go to China.
That might be it.
Yeah, which I didn't really plan on anyway. Okay, so respectful disagreements there. Are you in or out on coffee? I'm pretty sure I know the answer.
Yeah, so I'm in on coffee. I was a little confused by this one was on here, but I figured you had to have something on coffee to toss it in here. I don't like people who don't like coffee. I mean, I don't like people who would be like, why are you drinking coffee?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like that are like anti-coffee.
I'm drinking a cup a day.
Mm-hmm. Same.
During finals, I'm drinking 2 cups a day.
That's not bad,
I love
though.
getting those caffeine headaches during finals week. Best thing ever. It's healthy for your heart to drink coffee.
Yeah, so according to the shadowing I did over the summer, you can have up to 4 cups of coffee, and until you hit that 4-cup threshold, you are considered in the healthy or non-damage region. So you have so much more ground to cover if you really want to.
Yeah.
I'm also in on coffee, so I drink it every morning.
Definitely out on the people who are drinking like Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke in the morning, though.
Yeah, just at my parents'.
Oh, man, I'm out. I'm out on your parents. Let it be known to all the listeners, Mr. and Mrs. Schwartz, because you're going to be listening to this. I am out. I am out on you guys because you drink those diet pops in the morning.
I think there's still that whole thing of when like people were saying that Diet Pop was obviously way better than regular pop, and I think it's just kind of coming out that both of them really aren't that great. But alas, I cut out pop like a year ago or so. My diet just because it was bad, and I drink coffee.
That's fair. I appreciate that we're both from the Midwest, so we both said pop, and that wasn't an issue.
Oh, I get so much crap down here, man. You have no idea. I said pop once at a restaurant, and they looked at me.
Are they Coke people?
No, it's just soda.
Okay.
Yeah, I said pop at a restaurant once, and the lady looked at me, and she didn't know what it was. Literally had no clue.
Wow. I don't know. So I don't know where, somewhere in the South, that everything's just a Coke. It'd be like, what kind of Coke do you want?
I think it's Alabama.
Pepsi. It's Alabama.
And like Georgia, because that's like the South.
That's where. Yeah. It's also where Coca-Cola is, so that'd be fair.
I didn't know that. There you go. Perfect.
From Georgia.
In or out on Notre Dame?
I am a very, very hard out on Notre Dame.
I am too. This is why I put this on here.
So before you even start talking about any sort of athletics or anything of that nature, my parents both attended the University of Marquette. And at the time that they were there, Notre Dame was in whatever conference they were.
Was it the Big East, maybe?
I don't think the Big East was a thing back then.
Okay.
It might have been. I'm not 100%, but they were in a conference with Notre Dame. And so they have some very strong animosity for Notre Dame. Their chant they used to have was, I'm an asshole, I'm an asshole, I'm an asshole all the same, but I'd rather be an asshole than to root for Notre Dame.
That's great.
So they just come from such a entitled, like, Irish Catholic, my dad's a lawyer kind of money and environment. And I just, every time that I think about, like, I like watch a game and they show their fans, I'm like, I hate all of you. We actually played Notre Dame in hockey this weekend, because they're in the Big Ten for hockey, because, that's how sports work. You're in a conference. They were the number 11, 13 team in the country. The Ohio State Buckeyes are the number 4 team in the country, and we beat them in both games. So that made me happy to watch. Yeah,
wow.
Got to see Notre Dame lose. And then you talk about football, and I'm just happy that they're never going to be put into a 4-team college football playoff ever again because of their performance against who they played Clemson.
They played Clemson, yeah.
All right, so at least you give them that. Clemson was really good, but they still played awful.
Yeah.
Because of how bad they played, they're never going to get let in again until it expands.
I hope so.
Because they're not in a conference.
I hope so. UCF would beat Notre Dame.
Would they?
Probably. I mean,
you guys lost to LSU. Probably because they have an Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah, that was LSU. I mean, LSU's pretty good. It's fine. I'm out too because obviously they're Michigan's main rival, one of their main rivals.
They're Michigan's main rival. Is that because that's the one that they can actually beat? The other one is just a loss on the schedule.
And moving on, are you in or out on Apple products?
I am very in. I recently upgraded from my iPhone 5S that I'd had since sophomore year of high school. It had lived its life. It was time for a new one. And I'm on, you're looking on the Verizon website and there's so many phones. It's I know nothing about any of these phones. Time to get an iPhone X.
Yep. Yes, I had the same thing. I'm all in, except my right AirPod isn't really working anymore.
You have AirPods?
I think I have to change it to had. I think this their time is done.
Why do you have to flex on all of your listeners talking about your AirPods right now? How can you even hear me right now?
Because I'm actually not using my AirPods.
You're using your AirPods to call me.
I'm not.
How can you even hear?
I'm not, because actually the AirPods provide issues when you try to record a podcast, so I'm using plugged-in headphones.
So what happened to your right AirPod?
I don't know. It just stopped kind of playing sound. And I tried putting it underwater to rinse it out, and then it doesn't want to do anything. So
they're expensive. You should take that to the Apple store.
It's been 2 years. I don't think there's anything on there.
You've had them for that long.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I'm saying.
You're an original AirPodder.
Yeah, I had them before all these jokes came out, and that's why Katie makes fun of me too.
Wait, but with the joke, I think it's funny because when they first showed these AirPods, they were a laughing stock. Yeah, I got them then. Because people are this is ridiculous. You're going to lose them all the time. Who's going to buy these? And then the internet made people buy them because people were people with AirPods are cooler than people without AirPods. Yeah. And it was a few years ago when all the, preteens were getting their hoverboards. Everybody this Christmas is walking around with their AirPods now. Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But yeah. Apple had to have they probably started those memes. Good point. Corporate strategy right there. Yeah. That's bold. You put a couple on here that I will let you introduce. Yes. So these, all right. So my first one, this is related to some events that have gone down with one of my roommates over the past year. So are you in or are you out on homewrecking? So please define homewrecking. So what I mean by that is, yes. Do you have an idea what homewrecking is? I think I do, but just in case the listeners don't. Okay. Yes. All right. So homewrecking here is being used as a term to describe a individual who does something to cause a relationship to end between two people, and then the individual who homewrecked becomes then has a relationship with one of those people in the wrecked relationship. They're known as homewreckers because they come into your home and wreck it. Okay, so I would say I'm in the sense of if the relationship was already ending and then you're kind of helping one of those people talk about it and give them a place to talk about some issues, and then if something happens from that point, a spark or something like that, maybe a nice time out, to dinner or something like that sparks then that further, and then it's okay. I think that's really where it can go. All right, so you're that's that sounds reasonable. In with a caveat. What about you? It sounds like what you did. Isn't that what you did? I have no comment on the matter. All right, you have no comment on it. All right. We'll move past that. All right, so I guess you're definitely in. You're in the Homewreckers Association with Yoni. So what he said that, when there was this girl.
Oh, wait, this actually happened with one of your roommates? I thought you were just making fun of me.
No. So he worked with this girl, and he developed a bit of a crush on her.
Okay.
And he would just talk about it. It was like, wow, this girl's great, but she had a boyfriend. So then that was like middle of the semester. So then they're working together more. So they're becoming better friends. And then he starts like Snapchatting her. I'm like, Yoni, she has a boyfriend, Yoni.
So this is a month-long process. And
he's like, I know. I'm not gonna do anything. But he was saying and this is his fantastic analogy for it is if the foundation of your home wasn't strong, wouldn't you want someone to come in and test it for you?
That's amazing.
So he wasn't homewrecking, he was testing the foundation.
And then, wow, that's deep.
And moral of the story for all the listeners: if she's worth it, she'll break up with her boyfriend over winter break and then tell you that she did it basically because of you. So everyone, all listeners out there, join the Homewreckers Association of America, HAA, and go out there and homewreck your favorite relationship to win that special someone's heart.
True love finds a way.
True love always finds a way.
All right, your last one.
All right. Are you in or are you out on winter?
100% out.
All right, that's what I figured. You moved down to Florida.
Especially when I come home, and it's freezing and there's no snow.
All right. It is definitely better with the snow, but I am very much in on winter. The cold weather it just feels so nice. As long as you're nice and layered up, you're not out there wearing your shorts, you got your long sleeve on, you got your sweatshirt on, you got your coat on, hat and gloves, scarf, some nice winter boots. You're all cozy. You get home, you curl up in your blanket. You drink your hot chocolate. You get a nice fire in the fireplace.
I prefer palm trees.
This is also, coming from Cleveland, it's very cold in the winter. My house does not have central air, so in the summer when it's hot, it is very, very hot.
Oh, well, that's just a design flaw.
But in the winter, it's not a design flaw. It was just built in like the 70s or something.
Okay, yeah.
In the winter, you got space heaters and a fire, and it can be nice and warm, and it's comfortable, and you can always put more layers on when you're cold. But there is a point when you'll get arrested if you take too many layers off in the summer.
That's pretty insightful, actually.
Adam Levine was also at that point. The fire on stage must have been too hot for him.
Good point. Yeah, but he didn't get arrested because he's Adam Levine.
That's true.
So, yeah. Okay. That was fun. I enjoyed that game. We'll keep it around. Story time, as we like to do on The Assist, is tell a story that provides a unique look into the friendships and relationships that I've built over the years. So, of course, first episode of this new venture, we have to talk about the first idea ever that someone from Ohio had for a podcast that we knew.
I think this is true.
So, do you want to lead this or do you want me to lead this?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
it's your podcast.
Sam and I were played for a soccer team, as we mentioned earlier, Cleveland Soccer Academy Impact. And Sam and I would have to drive from the west side of Cleveland, where we lived, to the east side of Cleveland for practice. So what we had to do was, obviously, it was like an hour drive-ish, maybe sometimes longer. So we said, you know what? We're doing all these drives after school. We should just put a microphone in the middle of the seat here and have a podcast. And, of course, at the time, I had a nice white minivan in my youth.
Early 2000, it was Ford, right?
Yeah, Ford Freestar.
Yes. It was, if all the listeners at home, please look up what like a 2003 white Ford Freestar looks like, because you will know that like every time we're driving through rush hour traffic through Cleveland, this is the thing that was getting us there.
And so because of that, we decided we would call it VanTalk. And I'm not sure really whether it would have worked or not. considering we were in high school, but the idea originated there. And I can't remember who came up with that first name or the idea. It might have been you, actually. And I just acted on it.
Maybe this whole podcast thing, it really just comes back to me. I deserve some of the kickback from all of the millions of dollars you're going to be making one day from this.
Hopefully we will. That's the plan. Isn't that always the plan?
That is the plan. That was those car rides. I think it's because we had the things we were going to talk about today. I think it's crazy that we basically were complete strangers the first time that we rode in a car an hour to go to practice in Willoughby, Ohio.
Yeah, and now we're doing a podcast while you're at Ohio State and I'm at Central Florida, just catching up, shooting the crap.
It was good times.
Life is mysterious, Sam.
There's we only almost crashed the one time.
Which one time are you referring to?
We were going around Dead Man's Curve in the white Ford Freestyle.
So I was driving.
And you were driving. Traffic was stopped on the back side of it, so you couldn't see it coming around.
Oh, yeah.
And your abs applied, and we were like, it was like the as you're like swerving to the shoulder to not hit this car in front of us.
I do remember that. And then the guy behind me did the same thing. It was like everyone was doing that behind us. We made it.
Yeah, we made it. I feel like I remember that because I think it was like the closest I've personally ever been into like being in a bad accident.
Well, we've obviously bonded through that then.
I would have held it against you for the rest of time.
If we actually got in an accident.
It's a good thing you didn't do that.
This episode wouldn't have occurred.
No, it wouldn't have. You would have talked about how you had the first idea for VanTalk in your totaled van, so it never happened, and your partner never spoke to you again because of the traumatic day that he had on that drive home from a soccer practice.
That's great. You're right. But that didn't happen, and we just did the first episode.
We did the first episode.
Sam, thank you for coming on.
It was an honor to be your first guest. Everyone listening, subscribe to the Assist podcast brought to you by Zach Schwartz. It'll be a good time for all. How many episodes are you doing in this first season?
Well, it's not really seasons. We're just going to keep it going.
You're just doing episodes? All right. Just keep listening forever.
There we go. At assist_podcast for Twitter and Instagram. The assistpod at yahoo.com for the email. Thank you.